When Triple H took over creative, it was like a breath of fresh air. The Vince McMahon regime was finally over and he had stepped away and it was time for a change. What Triple H did for the black and gold NXT was truly special. Every NXT takeover had that main roster feeling. The NXT takeovers, the storylines, the stars being made was incredible. The NXT black and gold brand didn't even feel like a developmental at times. It honestly felt like a third brand. All the success he created in NXT, the next question was, how would Triple H do as the head of creative in WWE? Fast forward to now, the product just feels like not really that interesting right now due to Triple H's bad creative and lazy creative. And I already know, well, I can say, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. Which is true. That's a fair statement. But if you're a fan of the product and you're passionate about wrestling and, you care about the company, wouldn't you want it to be better? If you know it can be better, what's wrong with critiquing it and giving your fair criticisms? On the road to WrestleMania, Triple H was on a lot of interviews calling out the IWC and calling out people online that's like criticizing, WWE. He's like, Triple H was like, oh, be a fan, stop trying to be a critic. So you want us to basically sit back and eat garbage when we know we could be eating good food? That doesn't make any sense. Things need to be spoken up about if it's bad. For example, why does every PLE feel like just another episode of Raw and SmackDown? Premium live events is where the hoopers are supposed to shine. Your best wrestlers, your best talent in the company need to be on PLEs. They need to be wrestling in front of bigger audiences. WrestleMania 41, dull. Backlash, dull. Saturday night's main event. I mean, that's not really a PLE, but get rid of the stupid 5-match card shit. Especially with TKO and y'all are charging for these ticket prices, you can put 7 to 8 matches on a pay-per-view card, PLE. You only put 1 women's match on there. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You have 5 matches on the card and you only have 1 women's match? Do you realize that a women's world championship has not been defended on a PLE since October? Outside of WrestleMania, because that doesn't necessarily count because it's 2 nights. I'm talking about a normal pay-per-view. A women's championship has not been defended since October on a PLE. AEW weekly shows usually aren't that good in my opinion, but their pay-per-views are way more better than WWE's right now. Except the shit that happened at Dynasty. Yeah, we won't talk about it. AEW pay-per-views, the atmosphere, it feels so much different from WWE right now. Like, it has that big match feeling. AEW Double or Nothing. The pay-per-view was fire. They had Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page as the main event and a banger match. Every wrestling company has their flaws. Is AEW perfect? Absolutely not. Jon Moxley is the world champion, for crying out loud. Will Ospreay has been speaking about WWE heavily recently, saying how AEW has more talented wrestlers and how AEW is on WWE's tail and that, WWE is low-key slowing down. The best wrestlers in WWE aren't being used or pushed strong. WWE has better wrestlers in my opinion, but they're just not being booked strong or put on television. For example, Chad Gable is playing a stupid luchador gimmick and he's easily a top 5 wrestler in WWE. Great character work, has charisma, has the look, great in the ring. He has everything you want as a champion, mid-carder and world champion. And he's playing a stupid luchador gimmick and eating pins almost every single week on Raw. Like, make Chad Gable a single star. You have this man as El Grande Americano and his first ever singles title in WWE is the Speed Championship. You can't make this up. Chad Gable should have been the one to dethrone Gunther. It should not have been Sammy. Like, that was just so stupid. That was just so dumb. Andrade is very talented as well. Skilled in the ring. But I will say Andrade doesn't really have that much. He doesn't really have charisma. The crowd doesn't care about him. But he's not being put in position to succeed creatively. Easily one of the best wrestlers on SmackDown. One of the best wrestlers in WWE, period. But you wouldn't know that because he's never on TV. This man is just backstage walking around with Los Garza or just talking to the Miz. Like Ilya Dragunov, he's currently injured right now. He tore his ACL in a match against Gunther in a house show last year. But he's another talented wrestler, skilled, that is good on the mic, has charisma, and I'm really curious to see how Triple H books him when he gets back. I still can't believe they had him lose to Jey Uso in the King of the Ring tournament last year. That was like insane. But I do see storyline wise, you kind of want to save Ilya versus Gunther on the main roster for something more special. But having Ilya just lose to Jey Uso, that just, I remember the IWC literally starting a riot online when Jey Uso pinned Ilya Dragunov in the King of the Ring tournament. Carmelo Hayes is also someone who's great in the ring, has charisma, great mic work, talented as hell. He's in a tag team with The Miz right now. You just gotta be patient. You just gotta be patient. Carmelo Hayes' time will come. His time will come. Well, if we're gonna use that metric, Braun Breaker, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria all got called up around the same time as Carmelo Hayes, and they all were champions on the main roster very quickly. I'm just hoping that they have bigger plans for Carmelo Hayes in the future, so I'm not even gonna trip about it. But I'm just setting an example. It's a lot of talented wrestlers on the roster that's not being built up or put on TV. If Triple H fumbles Obafemi when he gets to the main roster, oh my God, there will be conversations. There will be conversations that had to be said, because Obafemi literally has everything you want in a superstar. Jey Uso is the world champion. Jey Uso tapped out Gunther in 3 seconds. The man has been traded as a star, this dominant force on the main roster. 606 days as the Intercontinental Champion made that title prestigious. Jay winning, cool, but Gunther tapping out, come on, man. And before you say, I already know, but Jey Uso's over. He's a top merch seller. The crowd loves him. You want to know somebody who was really over but never held a world championship? LA Knight. In 2023, LA Knight was the top merch seller in WWE. Loudest crowd reactions. Everyone was behind him. He was incredibly over. LA Knight never got a push. He was really over. Like, Gunther's entire world title reign was terrible and boring. You had him feuding with Damian Priest and the Judgment Day. Non-stop rematches, repetitive rematch. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, the Judgment Day. Like, what? Let me ask you this question. Do you still see Gunther as that same dominant force like you did when he was the Intercontinental Champion? No, you don't. You gave this man Gunther his best opponents on non-televised house shows. Like, still, this is insane. People probably don't even know about this, but on house shows, Gunther was wrestling AJ Styles, CM Punk, and Ilya Dragunov in world title matches. So you give this man his best championship opponents against people on house shows, and he's defending the belt against Jey Uso? That is insane. The New Day had one of the most interesting storylines throughout all of 2024. It was the tease weeks. Their storyline was interesting. Every single week you were looking forward to see, okay, what's another layer they're gonna add? What's more cracks in the team is gonna happen? That one backstage promo they had was so damn good. It was interesting. The crowd was into it. After every line, the crowd was having big reactions. Everything. Such a great storyline that the fans were invested in. And now it's damaged. Nobody cares about the New Day anymore. Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair had the hottest storyline following the Elimination Chamber. Jade returns, she attacks Naomi, and Naomi is revealed as the one that took out Jade. Had this great segment on SmackDown that felt so real. Bianca was crying, Naomi was crying, it had all the emotions. Get these women in Hollywood, these women can act. And now it's like, the feud is just boring and stale. It's the same thing almost every single week. Jade Cargill, Jade tries to attack Naomi. Naomi's running away. Naomi sneak attacks Jade, or Jade is running after Naomi. It's the same thing every week. Literally, the Jade and Naomi feud is literally Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, except they're just black women doing this now. Like, it's the same thing. They're just running away. You gave Naomi and Jade the first ever women's non-title match on WrestleMania, and then you fumble the feud? Why hasn't there been a face-to-face promo between Naomi and Jade yet? More story progression instead of the same shit every single week. Why is every heel in WWE booked the same? Cowardly heels that just run away. It's like every heel is booked the damn same. Naomi's killing it right now, and I hope she wins Money in the Bank. But Rhea Ripley is in Money in the Bank, and yeah, you know how that goes. Mommy is always on top. The current Women's World Champion, Io Sky, pinned Rhea Ripley, the biggest star in the entire promotion, and she pinned Bianca Belair, the second biggest star in the company, clean at WrestleMania. In the span of 7 weeks, Io pinned Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, both clean in a span of 7 weeks. This is like when Chris Jericho beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night. Japanese wrestlers really don't achieve this type of success on WWE. Like, Vince McMahon never pushed Asuka like Io, like Triple H is pushing Io, in my opinion. Asuka should have never lost at WrestleMania 34. I will forever stand on that. She cuts a promo the Raw after WrestleMania. For the first time ever, Io cut a promo on the main roster without anybody helping her. No damage control, nobody, just Io alone. That's big. This woman walked into Mania back-to-back years as champion. The crowd loves her. She's over. She was having banger matches every single week. and now she's just getting 40-second backstage segments with no story direction or feuds at all? That's stupid. This woman is the best wrestler in the world. Why isn't Io wrestling on PLEs? Why isn't she having storylines? If you didn't have anything planned for her, why did you ever retain at WrestleMania? 1 month removed from Mania, Io Sky has not had a single title defense since WrestleMania. In singles matches on PLEs, she has only wrestled 3 times. That's insane. This woman is the world champion. Why isn't she the vocal point of the women's division? Liv Morgan is the more of the main character on Raw. She's in every storyline. She's literally the tag team champion, and she's being portrayed more important than the women's world champion. Tiffany Stratton is a champion on SmackDown. She's open in SmackDown. She's in interesting storylines. Very much, she's the vocal point of the SmackDown women's division. Like when you're watching SmackDown, you know who the champion is. I just don't understand how you have a talent like Io, who the crowd loves, has charisma, absolutely great in the ring. Nobody can touch her. Great in the ring. She got that emo so over to the point where all the fans do what she do it now. The fans love her, and you just bench her backstage. That just doesn't make any sense. It's just so obvious that WWE is probably just gonna have her in backstage segments until Rhea Ripley takes the top title off her, bro. Io is holding the belt warm for Rhea. It's over. Mommy is always on top, and I wouldn't be surprised if she won Money in the Bank. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, in kayfabe, how is Rhea Ripley not going to win the ladder match? Who is going to stop her? No woman in WWE is on Rhea Ripley's level. No woman has been built up or booked strong enough to look credible against Rhea to stop her, besides Io and Bianca. But Bianca's on SmackDown, and she also has an injured finger. Rhea Ripley is winning Money in the Bank. Rossy Ogawa will never treat Io like this. Is the product bad like it was in 2019? No, absolutely not. Compared to Vince era, Triple H is better, but the bar is very low. Creative needs to step up and do better. I see why WWE desperately needs to hire writers. AEW is a more watchable and better product right now. Once Adam Page loses at All In to Jon Moxley, everything will be back down to reality. Everybody will go back to saying AEW sucks. Tony Khan is a bad booker. I can already see it now. Why the fuck is every single week am I seeing these two on my screen? These two get more screen time than Karrion Kross. They get more screen time than the actual damn talent in the company at times. Like, Karrion Kross is the top merch seller in WWE right now. You probably don't know about that because the man isn't on TV. This man outsold John Cena in merch sales, and he's on the bench. Karrion Kross has been gaining a lot of popularity and a lot of the fans' love over the last couple weeks. Like, I'm seeing Karrion Kross fans in the crowd saying push Karrion. You know, the crowd reactions when he's popping up on the screen is actually like the crowd is engaged in him. You know, this is all coming from a place of passion, a wrestling fan that wants to see the product be better, that knows it can be better. All the long-term storytelling, the stupid dragged out Austin Theory, Grayson Waller breakup that should have happened a long time ago. But yeah, Triple H, you need to do better. Your creative sucks right now, and you're sucking the life out of WWE.